Being the person who everybody wants to humble will turn you into a beast. It will turn you into somebody who you don't recognize but will love in the end. You almost embody the villain archetype because people are trying to force that identity on you. And you don't necessarily change for the worse, you change for the better. So the person who comes out on the other side of smear campaigns, humbling tactics, and sabotage usually is a person who you don't recognize because you've never had to walk in those shoes before and you've never endured that level of spiritual warfare. But now you have, and now you're a total beast from it. You know, I can relate so much to being the person who people loved humbling. People have always attacked me for no reason, seemingly. I even had a guy in high school yell at me on the top of his lungs. This was a black guy. In the cafeteria, simply because I didn't want him to skip me in the lunch line. He lashed out and basically told on himself and said, "You think you're all that. You're not all that. You walk around like you're all that. Wow, you're fuming right now because I told you not to skip me in the line and you just had a complete outburst." You just had a complete outburst, but you also just showed me who I am to you in your mind. You've pedestalized me, and you're using this opportunity to humble me and embarrass me in front of everybody. These are the types of demonic people we have to deal with as beautiful women, as exoticals, as women with bright lights and beautiful energy and a high calling on our life. A lot of people could sense you have high energy. What I mean by high energy is you could be someone that they could sense is going to have a high position in life, maybe a high title in your workplace, maybe a high title of an entrepreneur, maybe a high title of celebrity in some way, shape, or form, in content creation, in whatever realm. People can sense that you are going to have favor. It's weird. It's like people's demons can sense the light in you, and they can't help but manifest those demons when you come around. It's really, really scary to witness. As the person on the receiving end of this level of hatred, it is frightening. But as someone who was the face of many sabotage and humbling attempts and tactics, I know what it's like to be that person that people are just relentlessly going after. You know, and it builds this resilience in you. It builds this warrior spirit that you never thought you would have or need, you know? But I hate to say it, a lot of pretty women are naive. They're not aware of the things that happen in the spirit realm when it comes to their beauty and people being jealous and wanting to sabotage and wanting to humble them. They don't know a lot of the times unless they were told about it and prepared for it. A lot of pretty women are naive and they let anyone and everyone around them and then learn the hard way. Then they wonder, why is my friend trying to humble me every second? Why every time I come around her, she's making these like strange comments about my skin or my hair or how I walk or my job or the car I drive? Humbling. She's trying to humble you because she knows that you're going places. She knows you're going places. Your friend that can't seem to keep her nasty, passive-aggressive remarks to herself, she knows that you have high energy. She knows that your energy is so high that it's going to take you to places that she won't be able to enter into. So she's doing a sorry-ass attempt to keep you down with her. That's what she's doing. That's why she's doing that, babe. Because she feels like you're going to get too big, your energy's going to match up with your manifestations one day, and suddenly she's going to turn around and you're going to be, poof, gone with the wind. Out of there. Gone. She is afraid of your elevation. Same thing with some toxic men. You know, I've had my fair share of dealings with these types of men. They will do things like try to cheat on you first, you know. They'll do things like go behind your back and talk to your friend, you know, all in the attempts to take you down a few notches so you realize, or so they can make you feel like, you know, you're not that special. Look, I mess with your close friend. You're not that special. You thought you had me to yourself. You thought I valued you that highly to keep my penis in my pants for you only. No, babe, you're not special because I'm messing with your friends and I'm messing with your coworkers and I'm messing with your family, your cousins, and all the women in your family who will look my way. You're not special. Go sit down somewhere. No man will ever love you. That's the type of energy these men carry when they see a beautiful woman on her stuff, high energy, high value, and no nonsense. They want to come into your life and cause chaos and confusion. You have to understand that humbling is for women who are high energy and who tend to have really high callings and a purpose for their life. And that's why I don't talk about my mishaps and drama with people who are small-minded or who have low energy or who are just kind of basic and average, if we're being honest. I don't really go into detail about, why I move the way I move, why I cut people off so easily, the struggles that I've had. I don't share that with just anybody because the average person will not understand. The average person will be like, oh, you sound like a narcissist for talking about these things. You sound stuck up. You sound like you have your head in the clouds. Well, no, babe, that's not accurate. I would do my research on narcissistic abuse, humbling tactics, you know what I'm saying? Gaslighting, manipulation. Like, I would do my research before you just try to say that someone is, being dramatic or being narcissistic because you don't understand, I don't share these things with people, just anybody, because people don't understand what it's like to be that type of target. They would never understand. So I only share this information with pretty women who are pretty privileged, who are elevated, who are walking in their purpose and have dealt with the same types of spiritual warfare. And it's so sick because these people just want to see you fail. Like, it is so crazy being the person who people just can't stomach. It's such a unique niche experience. Like, you could not even be in your final form yet. You can be a work in progress, and somebody somewhere or multiple people somewhere are going to target you and tease you and mock you and try to copy you and try to hurry up and do what you're doing to be better than you at something, knowing that you are onto something. You have a bright future ahead of you. You have opportunities down the line that are going to come in fast and come in hard when you lock in, get focused, and only listen to your internal voice. So really what these people who are humbling you is trying to do is they're trying to manipulate your mind, which is witchcraft. I don't care what anyone says. It is that real and it is that serious. We need to stop diminishing these things that people are doing to us and taking it lightly. Mental manipulation, someone trying to make you believe a lie about yourself or someone trying to make you accept an identity that is not yours, is witchcraft. Point blank, period. It is that serious. It is that real. Okay, so when someone wages war on you like that, you have to be ready and armored up. Here's my advice to anyone who is still struggling with this, who still battles with this, or who still is on the fence about how they should go about being that person who's always hated on, being that person who's always being humbled, being that person who people are just constantly and incessantly attacking. Walk in that energy. No one says you have to take on the energy of a narcissist, but you need to take a page out of their book. They don't give a damn who's saying what, who's doing what, who's trying what. All they care about is, am I good? Do I feel safe? Do I have the things and people I need? Cool. So outside voices and all the noise doesn't matter. You need to walk in that same light. If these people want to try to humble you and tell you that you think you're stuck up or you're better than them, or, they try to make little remarks to make you second guess who you are, the little passive aggressive jabs and backhanded this and that, you need to start leaning into it. Be a bitch. Like, that is the best antidote for these types of people. If they try to humble you and say something out of the side of their neck, you need to be like, yep, absolutely. Like, a perfect example of this is Biggie from Baddies USA. I know that show is so messy. They fight all the time, but this is a perfect example. Natalie Nunn, if you guys are not familiar with Baddies, it's a show where these girls all travel, around the US or even sometimes outside of the US, and they perform and they fight. Essentially, they live in a house together and they just get it on all day. And I remember in a recent episode, Natalie Nunn, who's the CEO, was having a meeting with all the girls, and she basically decided to call out one of the girls who is one of the top cast members. She's one of the cast members that brings in the most money. So she's lucrative for their network. And she's the best performer. She has great numbers when it comes to sales for her singles. Like, she's an artist, right? Before she's a fighter, before she's a messy, dramatic filled person. But of course, the CEO doesn't like that she's just there to be about her business and not there to be messy and fight. So she decides to call her out in front of all the girls. And she says, Biggie, you think you're a diva. You act like you're a diva. Because Biggie has decided, hey, I'm not going to fight these girls. I'm not going to have these girls tearing my wig off every 5 seconds because they are battling with demons. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to perform. I'm here to work. And Natalie tried to call her a diva for it. Biggie had the best comeback. She said, I am a diva. And everybody was like, ooh, clock it. Like, everybody was gagged because she did something that people don't expect beautiful women to do. They don't expect women who are kind and have a nice, sweet demeanor to do, which is to lean into whatever title they're trying to put on you. Yes, I'm a diva. Yes, I refuse to fight. Yes, and what about it? You know, it puts it back on the other person. So now they have to kind of swallow their words, and they have to kind of just like sit there and internalize the fact that your attempt to embarrass me and humble me just now didn't work, because I actually love being a diva. I love not fighting. I love keeping my hands clean. I love the fact that my face is unscratched. My hair is not pulled out on my scalp. Like, I love that for me. Yes, I am a diva. And she just ate that up. Like, when she said that, I was just like, period. Because this was a perfect example of somebody who was intimidated by her star quality, her star power, and wanted to humble her and embarrass her and make an example out of her. And instead of defending herself and fawning, she leaned into that and said, yes, I am a diva. So that is how you deal with these people. Whatever title they try to put over you, whatever label they try to place on you, wear it proudly. In that moment, obviously, like, no one says you have to embody whatever negative thing they're trying to put on you. But if they're trying to be funny and they're trying to embarrass you, gladly take that. Gladly take it, and that will show so much grace on your side, but it will also show that you do not care. You're not fazed or bothered by people's attempts to put labels on you and humiliate you, essentially. So ladies, drop down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on being that person who is always targeted for, humbling. I'll also be leaving my email in the description box so you can share your stories with me there as well. Have a lovely day, ladies.